At this point in the course, we've now covered in a fair amount of detail how to have conversations about pronouns and how to talk to someone and about them in a respectful way if you're aware of their pronouns or if there's a way in which you can respectfully ask. But what to do when you don't know someone's pronouns and either they're not willing to disclose them or you're not comfortable to ask can be a little bit complex and tricky, particularly as you may then be using the wrong pronoun but not even know it. So there are a few tips for ways that you can navigate those situations to be as comfortable as possible considering the circumstances. If you know the person, a great failsafe is just to use their name. If you're aware of what their name is, you can use that instead of a pronoun in quite a lot of circumstances, as you've seen grammatically. Now, obviously you don't want to use this all the time, because otherwise you'll start to have those situations like David and David's self from that initial activity that we did. But you can certainly employ this tactic on a fairly regular basis. The second thing you can do is use gender-neutral pronouns. If you're not sure what someone's pronouns are, you can refer to them using they or them, like I just did there. There are very few people who would be offended about being referred to as them, mainly because people don't tend to actually notice it unless it's something that they've specifically picked and is personal to them. So I would recommend falling back on this as a default gender-neutral pronoun if you are not sure of someone's pronoun, and if they then feel the need to correct you because it's not their pronoun and they're uncomfortable, they will do so and you'll have an answer. The next thing you can do is you can ask other people what that person's pronoun is. Now, obviously, I wouldn't recommend you do this while the person is in the space because that seems a bit inappropriate. But if you are both close friends and you can have that conversation in a respectful way, it can be a useful way to gauge what pronouns you should be using for someone. Finally, you can look out for clues. Now, it may not always be 100% accurate, but looking at what pronouns other people are using for that person in the room can help you as a guide to give you a sense of what pronouns may or may not be more appropriate. As I've said, they may also be in the wrong or also not understand what pronouns that person wants you to use, so it's not foolproof, but it is a good start. You can also look out for clues in things such as email signatures, Zoom names, etc. Even if people aren't able or willing to discuss their pronouns with you person to person, there may be clues written down in various different places that you can use. Now, obviously, this works if you know the person, but if you don't know the person, a couple of these will be struck off the list. So you can't use someone's name if you don't really know what their name is, and you probably can't ask other people if you haven't got that element of familiarity. But it still stands that you can use gender-neutral pronouns for them, and you can also look out for clues either in discussion or in any form of written communication that you have with them as well. Ultimately, as long as you are not purposely using the wrong pronouns or jumping to conclusions that you had an opportunity to correct, there's only so much you can do as a human being. Throughout the course, we've looked at various different aspects of why pronouns are important to identity and what you can do to have conversations about those respectfully. And if you've taken all of those steps and you've done your best to make sure that you're being respectful, practicing pronouns and using the pronouns you have been asked to use, that's all you can do. If somebody doesn't wish to share with you and you can't get any further information, you can use the tactics we've just discussed to try and mitigate against that, but doing the best you can is ultimately the best thing that you can do in this situation.